Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jax, and today we'll be unboxing and reviewing the HUION H640P graphics drawing tablet. So HUION contacted me a few weeks ago asking if I wanted to review one of their tablets for them, and I was like, hell yeah. And so the thing about the HUION brand is they're probably one of the most well known for selling cheaper and more affordable tablets. Whenever I get asked questions about buying tablets on a budget, HUION is usually a brand I would recommend because one, they are quite a bit cheaper than the more conventional Wacom tablets, and second, reviews on them have generally always been pretty positive. Based on what other people have said, they all seem to say these tablets tend to be really reliable and perfectly functional, especially given their cheaper price range. However, I've never been able to test this claim out myself since I've never used their tablets, until of course today. So here we have the brand new tablet right out of the post, ready to be unboxed. So this is the box that it comes in, nice and plain and simple, and it's already starting to speak to me quite a bit because I have a very nice little picture of a deer in the front, very pretty, has little constellations around it, which I do quite like. So let's get to the unboxing. Okay, so here we have a little thank you card, which is quite lovely. Got the little logo, thank you for choosing HUION. Okay, that's awesome. Have the little mascot there. Put that to the side and we'll be using that later. Have the CD. Oh well, I thought it was a CD, but no, it's just this is how you download their drivers. So instead of having a CD, we just have a bunch of web links where you can download the relevant drivers for the tablet. Now here is the tablet itself. Okay, just take it out of the little slip here. And first things first, it is very small. So I have actually seen a few reviews of this tablet just online already. And yeah, every time people took it out of the box, they did remark on how actually quite small it is. And yeah, it's a lot smaller than I was expecting. I can do a little size comparison as well. So this is, of course, a HUION tablet. And then here we have my Wacom Intuos Art. So it's about almost, I would say, half the size of the Wacom Art. So just first impressions, we have the little express keys onto the side here. And there's no real separation between the express keys and the actual tablet screen, which is interesting. So it's pretty much just right embedded onto the actual screen itself. As you can see little dots on the corners here, and I'm assuming that's going to be the drawing area when I attach it to the computer. So yep, the tablet itself is very slim and it's quite light as well. It's nice black material, you have a bit of texture at the back and some kind of rubbery pads here just to make sure it doesn't slide around on a table. Yep, and overall the material feels very nice, very solid, doesn't bend in the hand or anything, and I guess we'll have to draw with it first to see how it feels with the actual pen on it. Okay, and what else do we have? Ooh, here is the stylus. So the stylus is quite nice and slim, has a kind of synthetic plasticky top, and then quite a nice smooth rubbery grip. And then you have the two little buttons on the side where you can click, and of course the pen nib, which is quite reasonable size, I would say. So yeah, can't wait to try this and see how it works. And here we have the pen holder, which is basically like a little cone. You have little instructions at the back here, and it looks like you can use this hole on the bottom to help you remove the pen nibs, which I've never actually had to do, so I guess, I don't know, we'll see where that goes. But let's just try it with the pen onto the side. Put that in, and yep, it's quite a nice hold. And finally, we have a connection cord. You have this side which connects to the actual tablet itself, and then of course this will connect to whichever computer you're using. And here we have a little instruction guide that will go through all the basics. Oh, it looks like over here that the holder actually has pen nibs in it. Oh, it has pen nibs. No way! Look at all the nibs! So many nibs! Okay, that's quite impressive how many they give you. And it's kind of sad because I'm pretty much never have had to change pen nibs at all. But nevertheless, extra nibs, always a bonus. And I guess I'll read through this maybe at some point, but everything seems to be pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to go ahead, connect this to my computer and download the drivers, and then we can take it for a test spin. Okay, so we're going to take the tablet for a bit of a test run now. I've plugged it into my MacBook Pro using the USB cable, and now I'm going to go to their website and find and download the driver, which hopefully shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, here it is. I'm going to install it now, and I'll be back with the settings. So here's what the settings and options window look like when everything has been installed. It's pretty standard. Here we have all the buttons with the express keys, which you can customize and set up. How you do this is completely up to you, of course. Since I'm drawing on a laptop which has a keyboard, I'll probably just use that for the time being. But if I was setting this to use as my default keys, I'll probably set at least one of these to Control Z, obviously, undo. Another to Alt, which I will press down in order to activate the color picker when I'm using my programs. And then probably Space, which allows you to drag around your canvas with your mouse. And then maybe some of the others to like zoom in, zoom out, which actually some of these default options already have them set to those. So you have like Control Z at the bottom and then the zoom in and zoom out just above it. We have a curve here under the pen settings option, which you can use to adjust the pressure sensitivity, I would assume, which is nice. So you can then, once you adjust it, you can then use this little test thing here and this little palette just to test the different pressure sensitivities. Okay, so I have Betty Bang open here, and I was just testing out some different kinds of brush strokes. So one of the first things I noticed about the tablet was that the pressure wasn't really immediately calibrated with the brushes I was using in Medibang. I just spent a good 10 to 15 minutes troubleshooting, and eventually I figured out I probably should have, removed some of the previously installed drivers from my other tablets. It's always the thing that's recommended whenever you're installing a new tablet, but either I always forget or I just don't really want to, or like I can't be bothered, and I figure it's fine, the new tablet can figure it out, it'll work fine, but then it never does, and it's because I never removed the old drivers. So once I did that, I restarted everything, and then when I went back into the program, the brushes and the pressure sensitivity was working fine after that. Anyway, so once that was all sorted, I wanted to get into the drawing. So here I have a little sketch of Illuma that I made a while ago. So I've decided randomly that for every tablet review that I do, I'll just be drawing this exact same character of mine. No particular reason, he's just a nice, easy go-to character to draw, and I think it'll be cool to have that little bit of consistency across all the different tablet reviews, as a science experiment. Now for the rest of this video, I'll kind of jump in and out of time-lapse. At the beginning, I'll keep it at a pretty slow speed so you can see how the brush strokes lay on. And I'll also explain my general thoughts on how I'm feeling about using this tablet. So like I said, once I got the pressure sensitivity all worked out, the tablet worked pretty much how it should have worked. Initially, I did think the size of the tablet being so much smaller than the screen would have made it really, really difficult to use, but honestly it wasn't too bad. And when I mean different size from the screen, I mean like really different. I actually ended up moving the recording of this speed paint to my desktop Mac. Not my laptop-sized MacBook, no, my 27-inch TV-sized giant Mac computer. The reason I had to do this was because my screen recording program was eating up all the processing capacity on my laptop, which meant I actually couldn't record in Medibang without the brushes being super laggy. So I had to move to my more powerful computer. Anyway, I digress. That being said, using this tiny tablet with a giant screen, I could definitely feel a loss of accuracy in my brush strokes. Coloring in the base of the character within the lines was actually a little difficult. It was a bit hard gauging exactly where the brush stroke was going to go, and I could imagine that perhaps this wouldn't be the best suited to someone looking for making finer line art. Again, I might not be getting the best experience because I am using this with like a maximum discrepancy between the screen and the tablet size. But the thing is, I use my Wacom Intuos art with the big screen all the time. And the reason I don't have this exact problem is because I can use the tablet in mouse mode. And I have lot more control over how fast the brush actually moves on the screen. And just by having those two options, I can get a lot more control and precision out of using my tablet. So HUION, if you're listening to this review, a greater degree of customizations for things like pen speed and screen calibration will actually be a real game changer. But as I guessed, I got used to pen mode pretty quickly, so it ended up not being too much of a problem. I could move the brush on the screen fairly accurately as I blocked in colors, and just in regards to pen to brush correspondence, moving, tapping, clicking, etc., all of those worked perfectly fine. I didn't have any glitches with those. You can definitely see the different levels of pressure sensitivity. I would say the calibration definitely caters to people with lighter grips. I definitely didn't have to push very hard to get the full range of pressure, and honestly, I didn't find the options to change the pressure sensitivity really affected how it felt at all. I know I tend to press down really hard, so every time I come across a tablet where I barely had to put on any pressure, it can take a bit of getting used to. But I think that's the real take-home message that I want to emphasize here. Once you get used to the feel of pretty much any tablet, you're set. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of practice. Sure, this new HUION tablet did have certain features that were different from my usual drawing devices, but never underestimate how quickly you can learn to understand the feel and the nuances of the tablet you're using. By the time I was about an hour in, the whole drawing experience felt pretty natural, and I was able to start putting in the details and work through the remainder of the piece pretty quickly. I did end up using 2 of the express keys, which were set by default to zoom in and zoom out, which for some reason my mouse just didn't want to do. So having that was a nice bonus. A couple of things I wanted to mention was that the stylus doesn't need to be recharged or anything, which is a huge advantage and one less thing to worry about. The excess of nibs the tablet comes with inside the pen holder is also pretty cool. And I actually really enjoyed using the pen. The grip was just super soft and it was just a nice size and weight, which made it really pleasant to use. Also, given its size, this would be a great on-the-go drawing tablet. It would slide super seamlessly into a handbag or a pocket of a backpack, and it doesn't really add much weight to it either. And I also think that would be the ideal situation for buying this tablet. If you're looking for something to take with you on the go that you can just quickly plug into your laptop at school or at a cafe to finish up some work, you know how cafes have those really tiny tables and you can barely fit anything onto? Well, it will be perfect because this tablet hardly takes up any desk space. You can have it there in front of your laptop with enough room for your coffee and muffins. It's perfect. But if you're like me and you work at home on a giant screen trying to pump out art every week like an antisocial little robot, then I would recommend saving up a bit more money to buy something a little bigger. I'll have links down in the description below to the HUION website, which will have all their other products, as well as this one if you're interested. Again, this is the HUION H640P graphics drawing tablet. It is under $100, it's perfectly usable, it's, I would have to say, utterly adorable. It's great for on-the-go work, though probably not the best for, dedicated work. Overall, I would give it a B, so, go check it out. In the meantime, my name is Jax. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel for more reviews, speed paint, tutorials, and all the other artsy goodness you can get in life, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!